The life I'd lose wasn't mine, it was hers. Because she was my life. My wife was my life.
Add the highlights of the Nagano Winter Games to your video collection. Call now.
More dangerous than first reported. Police say the boy accused of the Oregon school shooting attacked one of the officers holding him. An overwhelming vote for peace in both parts of a divided Ireland. And crying foul. Girls softball teams demand their innings on LA's best diamonds.
This is the CBS Evening News with Paula Zahn.
Good evening. The boy in custody in Springfield, Oregon was violent even after his arrest. Officials say he carried a concealed knife when he was taken into custody and went after an officer. Bill Whitaker has new details on the anger of a troubled teen.
Even after he was in custody, 15-year-old murder suspect Kipling Kinkle lunged at police with a knife he had taped to his leg. Police confirmed today the incident occurred when Kinkle was first being interrogated Thursday. The boy had to be subdued with pepper spray. With the suspect in a juvenile facility, police continued scouring his house where the bodies of his parents were found. Police now have found a total of 20 explosive devices, and there may be more.
I have absolutely no confidence that there are not more devices in that house.
The explosives are all believed to be the handiwork of young Kinkle.
It is extraordinary.
County Sheriff Lane Clements.
This is not what you expect in everyday houses, absolutely.
But it may not have been the everyday family. Kinkle's grandmother told a Portland paper that just 2 days before the shooting, the boy's father said he was giving up on his son. We're just going to let him grow up. Who knows how to handle a child like that? The town of Springfield is handling its grief the best it can, trying to get back to normal. At the high school, there was a soccer tournament today, but people still file by the murder scene to look, to remember.
It could have happened to me, it could have happened to any of my friends, it could have happened to anybody.
You don't know who's going to bring a gun to school next, so it's really scared.
And others remembered those who died, including the first victim, Mike Nicholson. How did he kill Mike?
Execution style. Mike was laying on the ground, put the gun up to the back of his head, and just pulled the trigger, almost casual-like.
2 days after the shootings, the pain and fear are still raw. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Springfield, Oregon.
Our other major story tonight, the overwhelming approval by all the people of Ireland of the historic Good Friday Peace Accord. It was a landslide in the Irish Republic, and CBS's Vicki Mabry tells us results north of the border far exceeded expectations.
Yes, 71.12%.
By a resounding majority, the people of Northern Ireland voted for change.
Peace at last. Peace.
Yes voters see it as a beginning. The next step is electing an assembly to govern Northern Ireland.
Now I am proud to be Irish. Ireland now isn't about bombing. It's not about shooting people because they disagree with me politically. It's about coming together and joining together and looking forward.
The no camp, mostly Protestants, says it's the beginning of the end.
I am setting out to keep that from assembly, from ever having any substance to take us towards a united Ireland.
But with more than 80% of registered voters casting ballots, the message is clear.
They voted to take the gun out of politics.
I think there's a lot of hope out there, and we have to deliver.
The hope now is for prosperity, development, investment, full employment, and equality. If today's vote says a lot about the way the people of Northern Ireland want to mold their future, then the scene behind me shows what they want that future to look like. To a certain extent, the yes vote is as much about economics as it is about politics and peace.
Everybody's trying to move towards Europe, and it's more important to think of it economically and think of it in terms of Europe.
If prosperity is in their dreams, tonight the thought is about peace, something that's eluded Northern Ireland for the last 30 years. Vicki Mabry, CBS News, Belfast.
President Clinton today praised the Irish for having, quote, the courage and wisdom to vote for a brighter future for their children. Former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell, that is, who chaired the successful peace accord negotiations, told CBS News the voters have spoken their minds.
They want their problems resolved through democratic and peaceful means, elections, negotiations, compromise. not with bombs and bullets and death and destruction. This is a repudiation of violence as a way to solve problems in Northern Ireland.
But proof was quick in coming that voting for peace doesn't make it happen. Police in the Irish Republic today chased and intercepted 2 cars filled with suspected explosives. The cars were heading for the border with Northern Ireland, but their ultimate destination was not known. CBS's Scott Pelley visited Northern Ireland's so-called bandit country and tells us that if peace ever does come there, it won't be anytime soon.
To understand the depth of hate in Northern Ireland, visit the police station in the town of Crossmaglen. It is the most heavily fortified garrison in Western Europe, protecting British troops inside from Catholics bent on ejecting Britain from all of Ireland. If the peace plan is going to work at all, it must bring peace here. This has been the most dangerous place in Ireland, a stretch along the border that the Irish call bandit country. It is territory effectively held by the Irish Republican Army. There has been a ceasefire for months. Still, soldiers watch their backs. The signs are everywhere. Sniper at work. This is the reality President Clinton worked to overcome during the last several weeks, personally coaxing the parties together.
If I were an Irish Protestant, which I am, living in Northern Ireland instead of the United States, I would be thinking about my daughter's future and her children's future.
Pat Toner is cleaning up for his daughter's wedding. He's a moderate Catholic politician who wants a united Ireland and voted yes.
We have to go a long, long way yet, and a lot of bends in that road, a lot of turns on that road. But I think eventually, if people realize that by talking they can achieve something, more so than by killing each other or by fighting, or by using a gun or bomb, I think we will get there.
But for a while at least, the garrison at Crossmaglen will still be resupplied by helicopter, and the troops will watch. For many here, the past is too bitter to expect peace so soon. Scott Pelley, CBS News, County Armagh, Northern Ireland.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, a fiery traffic accident could close one of America's busiest highways for weeks. Plus, why low gasoline prices are passing California by.
Hey, Parquet, what's the word? Better. Better? Aren't you supposed to say butter? Better. Butter. Better. Look at how you melt. Just like butter. You really do taste better.
Butter. New Parquet. Now the flavor says butter. Even better.
Pain keeping you awake? Now the effervescent power of new Alka-Seltzer PM gives you complete relief. Alka-Seltzer Speed plus a gentle sleep aid. The 100% solution to nighttime pain. New Alka-Seltzer PM. Sleep well.
Most of these children are about to be put in a dangerous position. It's estimated that 4 out of 5 kids are buckled up in the car incorrectly. Crashes kill more than 1,000 children every year who are completely unbuckled. Make sure children 12 years and younger are secured snugly and properly in the back. For more on how to keep them safe, read this book. It's free from Shell. Count on Shell.
When your allergies are a nightmare, you need fast relief. You need the power of Zyrtec. Prescription Zyrtec starts working fast and lasts 24 hours. So when allergies are a nightmare, remember the power of Zyrtec. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Other side effects included fatigue and dry mouth. Most were mild or moderate. To learn more, ask your doctor or pharmacist.
A major East Coast highway is shut down this evening, making travel woes even worse this Memorial Day weekend. On busy I-95 just south of Philadelphia, a spectacular accident backed up traffic for miles. A tanker carrying gasoline collided with a bus and a pickup truck, killing 2 people. Smoke poured from the tanker and flames buckled a bridge that will keep southbound lanes closed for weeks. Experts say a strong economy and low fuel prices are behind a surge in travel this holiday weekend. Almost 27 million people are expected to drive 100 miles or more. In most places, gas prices are averaging 14 cents below last year. But Bob Orr found one state where the cost of gas is sky high.
All across America this Memorial Day weekend, holiday drivers are taking advantage of what industry analysts are calling the lowest summer gas prices ever.
They're down big time.
But this summer's travel bonanza does not extend to California. While gas prices there are down, they're still higher than anywhere else in the country due to stiff taxes and strict clean air laws.
Well, I think they're higher than any place else in the United States. I seem to be coming in here at least once a day.
And nowhere are prices steeper than in San Francisco, where drivers are paying 20 cents a gallon more than motorists in L.A.
Here I'm paying more than $1.50. What's going on with that?
Something's wrong.
California Senator Barbara Boxer charges Bay Area prices are being artificially boosted by major oil companies. Most of San Francisco's 116 gas stations are controlled by big oil, meaning those stations cannot shop around for cheaper generic gas.
There's more control of prices. There's fewer independent dealers who are running these gas stations, and all of this adds up to trouble for the consumers.
The oil industry defends the prices as simply a result from the inflated cost of doing business by the Bay.
To open a gas station in San Francisco as opposed to Los Angeles, for example, it might cost you over $1 million more. Those types of costs get passed along to consumers and at the price in the pumps, just like any other product cost would.
In response to Senator Boxer's charges, the Federal Trade Commission has agreed to investigate the high prices. But even if the FTC ultimately turns up evidence of price collusion, California drivers seem destined to miss out on the travel bargain of '98. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
There is controversy tonight about the safety of a new air traffic control system going online next March. A computer maintenance union says the new system lacks alarms to warn it is about to fail. But the FAA says the billion-dollar system will provide adequate protection. Coming up next on tonight's CBS Evening News, the epidemic of deadly school shootings and what can be done to stop it. And later, the boys of summer trying to protect their turf from the girls.
It's late, it's wet, and a flat tire puts you up against the wall. Wouldn't it be great if you could just drive to safety? Now you can with new Goodyear Aqua Steel Run Flat. Even with no air pressure, you can drive up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour to safety. Aqua Steel Run Flat. Only from Goodyear.
How do you furnish a room with a ceiling made of sky? Introducing the affordably priced Home and Garden Collections from Ethan Allen. Because the most beautiful place in your home may not be in your home at all. The spring sale ends this weekend.
Holding power is the most important thing in a denture adhesive.
Watch. Super Polygrip has improved holding power.
Yikes! That's incredible. Improved Super Polygrip holds a lot better than my brand.
Improved Super Polygrip.
I want to try it.
Life's an adventure because you're over 50 and still exploring. So take the Centrum made just for you, Centrum Silver, with age-essential nutrients specially adjusted to keep pace with your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver, it's a great time to be silver.
Fibercon or Metamucil, both have fiber for regularity. But I like Fibercon better.
Same natural action of fiber, but only Fibercon contains calcium.
And with Fibercon, I get my fiber in 2 caplets.
Fibercon, fiber and calcium in a convenient caplet.
Could this natural habitat become just another one of our shopping malls? We're taking a trip to find out. Join us this Sunday morning.
A water park in Texas reopened today after a rampage by young people. Hundreds of visitors, invited by a radio station, smashed windows and looted souvenir stands last night at Six Flags Hurricane Harbor in Arlington. Police made no arrests, fearing that might provoke more violence. No serious injuries were reported. President Clinton, in his weekly radio address today, says he is profoundly troubled by the shootings in America's schools this academic year. It began in Pearl, Mississippi. A boy kills his mother, then opens fire at the high school. 2 months later, in West Paducah, Kentucky, a prayer group is gunned down. March of this year, 2 young boys fake a fire drill in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and shoot fleeing classmates. At an Edinburgh, Pennsylvania graduation dance in April, a teacher is gunned down. Then Tuesday, an honor student fires on a parking lot in Fayetteville, Tennessee. Thursday, the shootings in Springfield, Oregon. Late this afternoon, I talked about the trend with Dr. Astrid Hager, Executive Director of the USC Medical School Violence Intervention Program. And I asked her how much of a wake-up call the shootings are.
Let's identify it for what it really is. I think that's what the direction we have to go, instead of focusing in on each one, is to say this is really pediatric domestic violence in the workplace. The kids' workplace is school. This is not the same thing we've talked about for adolescent violence. We've congratulated ourselves that adolescent violence is on a decline. That's inner-city violence. That's gang violence. That's that type of crime. This is family violence.
What are the other common threads that link together these crimes?
Well, the other common threads is that the reason that we're so profoundly impacted by them is that they are white kids. They are kids living in suburbia. They are allegedly raised in good homes. And we step back and say, how could this possibly happen? All of our children, and certainly some of the children we're talking about in excess, have been inundated with media violence, video game violence, and they themselves maybe personally have, although imaginarily, have killed thousands of others in this video games. That certainly sort of makes them like, God, you know, it's no big deal to kill. It's easy to kill. Another reason is that they're adolescents. We're talking about children who we always identify as having poor impulse control. We don't expect them to make good decisions. We don't allow them to buy certain things or to vote or to drive. And then we expect them to be exposed to this violence and then respond by not being violent, and then we arm them and give them guns.
So what you're basically saying is we should not be surprised that these crimes continue to happen.
This is a real wake-up call for this country right now. This is going to go on and on and on unless we step in and try to make a difference. Saying, oh, how horrible for this town, how horrible for that town. This kid came in with a homicidal gesture into the school. We sent him home, he had his guns back. I mean, we need to start saying this is not okay. We need to start saying every child deserves the same quality of upbringing that you're delivering to your children and that I gave to my kids.
What's it going to take to stop this violence?
Well, this is the equivalent of a medical epidemic. It is if we discovered a new virulent, toxic disease that was going to kill thousands or millions, and we sat back and said, well, hey, you know, it's okay. We'll get to it later. This is a call that is an emergency. We need to start recognizing the fact that we can't always trust parents to raise the best kids, and that there are some kids who are exposed to so much toxic influence that we as a society have to intervene, because they're going to come after our kids. They are going to be an environmental pollutant and kill our own children.
Dr. Astrid Hager, the head of the Violence Intervention Program at the USC School of Medicine. Next up on tonight's CBS Evening News, a change of venue for the French. Why some of the brightest young people in France are heading off to England.
He's sleeping, can you believe it? Yeah, Uniso, about half an hour ago. He gave me a hard time, then he took it. Big baby. Yeah, Uniso. Well, the pharmacist said. I know it's not habit forming. He's the one who made a big deal. Want to say hi? He sends his regards. All right. You too.
If you quit working after only 4 hours, you'd probably get fired, right? Right. That's what ordinary pain relievers do. Work for a while, then quit. But now there's a leave. Only a leave has the strength to work all day long with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that. So if the pain reliever you use doesn't work the way you want, fire it. Fire it and take a leave. 2 pills, all day relief. Works for me.
My best friend doesn't have a lot to say, but my best friend stands by me night and day.
More veterinarians feed Hill Science Diet to their own pets than any other brand.
He always shows me gratitude, never has an attitude. Whoa, whoa, my best friend.
So feed your pets Science Diet, the #1 choice of vets.
There's nothing better for your best friend.
My best friend.
But vets feed their pets.
Around here, we sure do like our salad. And the people who make craft dressings figured that some of those new tastes we've all discovered would make really good dressings. Like creamy Parmesan Romano. It's their special collection. They're all new, but they're all craft. Just because we've grown up on Catalina doesn't mean we don't like a good balsamic vinaigrette when we taste it.
Pass the bread, please.
I guess they just know what we like. Around here, the dressing is craft.
The Oregon school shooting, the latest from local officials and criminologist James Fox, plus the Chinese investigation with Sandy Berger and Senator Thad Cochran, face the nation Sunday.
Pakistan's prime minister today accused India of nuclear blackmail and called last week's nuclear testing a challenge to the world community. A CBS News poll out tonight shows a majority of Americans think the U.S. should punish India in some way. More than 60% oppose U.S. economic incentives or weapons to keep Pakistan from nuclear testing of its own. Telford Taylor, former chief prosecutor at the Nuremberg trials following World War II, died today at the age of 90. Taylor prosecuted nearly 200 alleged Nazi war criminals, about 150 of whom were convicted. Pope John Paul led a beatification ceremony in northern Italy today as he became the longest-serving pope of the 20th century. John Paul has now surpassed the 19 years, 7 months, and 7 days served by Pope Pius XII, who died in 1958. In France, economic austerity measures have pushed thousands of young people into the export business, exporting themselves to seek their fortunes across the channel. CBS's Tom Fenton tells us about the new French connection.
It sounds and looks like France, but this is one of the English towns that are being invaded by the French, who find it increasingly difficult to do business or find jobs in their own country. Back home, the French have had enough of government red tape, crippling taxes, and an unemployment rate that exceeds 12%. So many are either taking to the streets or adopting a more radical solution. Tens of thousands of France's brightest and best are leaving, and one of their favorite destinations is the other end of the Channel Tunnel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be arriving shortly at London Waterloo International.
What a difference a train ride can make. Here in Britain, the business climate is radically different. It's the new El Dorado for the French, the place where they can make it. Les Saveurs is a splendid example of what the French can do in Britain's booming economy. It's one of 4 trendy new London restaurants that have been opened in only 7 months by a talented young chef. French banks refused him a loan, so Jean-Christophe Novelli came to London.
There is money, that's it. There is people with money who are just waiting to help young people, talented, good chefs or whatever, to succeed.
He has succeeded beyond his wildest dreams. His $100,000 loan has turned into an $8 million business. London is such a magnet for the young French that a job center has been set up for them here. They can find in a day or two a job that might take years to land in France. And there's the added incentive of moving to one of the world's most desirable addresses.
London is a very fashionable place to be at the moment. You know, it's very trendy in terms of music, fashion, so it makes, you know, the whole thing even more attractive.
And with more of them finding jobs and setting up businesses every day, they won't even feel homesick. In Britain, the French have found they can have their gâteau and eat it too. Tom Fenton, CBS News, London.
It's not for sale. Other companies have always tried to buy the secret family recipe for Bush's baked beans. No wonder. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Specially cured bacon, fine brown sugar, and a delicate blend of spices. I've only shared my secret family recipe with one other soul, and he'd never sell out. Hey, where'd you get that?
I was just trying it on. Honest.
Bush's baked beans. Our secret family recipe is baked into every bean.
I convinced the senior partner to get new PCs. He said, will they work with what we have? And who's going to take care of them? I said, relax, Dad. It's under control.
When you call Gateway, we'll custom build servers and PCs just for your business, featuring Intel Pentium 2 processors and backed by service that never expires.
I never should have shown him how to email.
Call us, and let's talk about your gateway.
Good morning, America. How are you?
America's favorite overnight relief announces new X-Lax with Senna, a natural active ingredient.
Good morning, America.
Still works overnight, and 4 out of 5 users agree it's gentle. New X-Lax, so dependable, it's guaranteed.
Good morning, America. How are you?
New X-Lax with natural Senna.
Good morning, America.
Guaranteed.
It's the national memorial to those who fought and died in World War I.
War ain't no picnic.
Now, his memorial is a crumbling national disgrace.
Does it make you sad to see this?
Yeah, it used to keep it all tip-top.
100 years old and fighting to save a national treasure. Monday on the CBS Evening News.
Now that summer has unofficially begun, a story about the girls and boys of summer. In Southern California, girls who play softball say the boys get fields to dream for, and the girls get what's left over. Now, as Sandra Hughes reports, the girls are going to court for a field of their own.
The West Valley Dangerettes are fired up to play ball, but have no permanent place to play it. Part of a 400-member softball league, the Dangerettes shuffle from field to field, playing on what they call substandard diamonds.
It's really bad. The fields are all bumpy. In the outfield, we have ditches. The grass is, like, just in patches. It's not, like, smooth or anything.
11-year-old Daria Igloo thinks it's high time the city of Los Angeles provided better playing fields for her league. So Daria and 5 other girls are suing the city, charging it unfairly reserves the best fields for the boys' leagues.
So we should fight for our own fields.
Dave Berman, the president of the Girls' League, calls it a clear case of gender discrimination.
This league has been based here 29 years. There's a local boys' league, been here 29 years. They have a permanent home on city-owned land. We don't.
This is one of the city-owned fields where the girls would like to play, where the West Hills Boys League enjoys everything from caged bleachers to an electronic scoreboard.
That's all done by hard work. There's not a dime of city money that's ever been spent here.
That's true. The parents did pay to build this stadium, but it's on city land. And the girls' lawsuit claims that the city automatically gives preference in renewing permits for these sites to existing boys' teams. Councilman Mike Fuhrer disagrees.
In this case, we don't have a situation where discrimination is the issue. It's an issue of so many kids wanting, in a terrific way, to play on a very limited number of fields.
But just like Title IX forced schools to incorporate girls' athletics into their limited budgets, this lawsuit could force the city of Los Angeles to make room, limited land or not, for girls' softball.
Way to go, Lauren. Stay tough, honey. Stay tough.
And the girls who play ball say it is now just as much a part of growing up for them as it has been for boys.
Well, it gives girls a chance to really get their strength up and their spirit. Softball's a really good sport for building up spirit.
Spirit is something Daria Igloo and her teammates aren't lacking.
Hey, nice job.
It's a place to call home that they're looking for.
Good job, girl.
Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And that is the news for tonight. Tomorrow on Sunday morning, America's newest concert hall. Then on Face the Nation, the Oregon school shooting and technology transfers to China. I'm Paula Zahn, CBS News in New York. Good night and have a safe holiday weekend.